So why do I like Micro Four Thirds? Well, join me and you'll find out. Roll titles. Well, hi YouTube, Brian James, that Micro Four Thirds guy with you again. And therein lies the question, why do I call myself that Micro Four Thirds guy? Well, it's because I have a fascination with the Micro Four Thirds format of cameras, as you've probably noticed on my previous videos. But I'm going to give you 5 reasons why Micro Four Thirds is a particularly good format for me to use. So let's start with number 5. Well, number 5 is going to be the 4x3 format. On some of the other the APS-Cs and the full frame, we're sitting at a 3x2 format, which is more rectangular. It's really good, but at the same time, I find this a little bit narrow. When I was doing a lot of portrait work, I found when I was shooting portrait-wise being the vertical aspect ratio, when I was shooting that sort of thing, I did find that there was at times that I wanted to be that extra bit of width, and when you put them into some of the cardboard mounts and the strut mounts, I did find that by shooting 4x3 I could always trim it in, but I couldn't expand it out, or it would look very tall and thin. So I find that the Micro Four Thirds format, the 4x3 format of these cameras, is particularly pleasing. And I think some of that comes to the fact that I'm getting old, you see, and I remember 4x3 format TVs. Anybody who was around before all the digital stuff came in, we didn't before high definition TV, everything was 4x3 format. It was a natural format for us to see. And I did like that when it was in landscape mode, that extra little bit of height that you could have, and it would incorporate a lot more in. So number 5, it's got to be the 4x3 format itself. In at number 4 has got to be the comparative cost. Now, I know there's been lots of discussions about the things like the price of the OM1 being extremely expensive for what it is. And you know, do we want to be spending £1,300 for an OM5 body? Well, I'll be honest, I shot full frame and APS-C cameras for a long time. And when you're getting towards the top of the range on those cameras, you could be spending double what we're talking about on an OM1. And I do find that even for the pro level cameras in the Micro Four Thirds line, they are incredibly inexpensive. But also insofar as things like the lenses, because the lenses are smaller, because the lenses are easier to manufacture, it's much easier to get a consistent manufacture on a lens when it's that size than when it's that size. And for full frame, you need bigger glass. There's no two ways around it. Physics, unfortunately, dictates that, whether we like it or not. So to be able to get that manufacturing on some of the bigger formats, it takes a lot more money. And I found that the comparative costs, even though it's not cheap, no camera format is cheap, but at the same time, I find the Micro Four Thirds format to be comparatively inexpensive. So number 4 is the comparative costs of the equipment. In at number 3, it's the innovative features. Now, I know when you're talking about the Z series from Nikon, or when you're talking about the R series from Canon, or when you're talking about the G mount from Sony, you've got some fantastic innovative features on those. You've got mirrorless cameras. But remember, the first proper mirrorless DSLR type camera didn't come from any of those ones. It came from Olympus with the OM5. And to me, that really does make these cameras to be market leaders. I know the rest have caught up somewhat, but you've still got some incredible features on these cameras, and incredible features which are leading the other manufacturers. They have caught up, but they're not necessarily as innovative as some of the ones on the Micro Four Thirds format. And I still believe that the Micro Four Thirds format has a lot to offer and an awful lot to give in its future generations. And I have found that this has given me a different outlook on my photography long before any of the big manufacturers started using mirrorless cameras. And if you look at it, none of them are offering, in reality, any of the old type prism type cameras where you're looking through as an SLR. They're all gone to mirrorless, and mirrorless is working extremely well. It's a WYSIWYG system. What you see is what you get, and it was pioneered in Micro Four Thirds. And Micro Four Thirds is still pushing the boundaries. So number 3, innovative features. At number 2, well, it's my favourite thing that I've talked about lots of times on this channel. It's the lightweight cameras and the really small size. Now, there's been lots of discussions, especially when you get onto things like the G9. The G9's a camera body is quite big, and I know that some of the other manufacturers have really got full frame bodies which are just about the same physical size. But it's still not big, it's still not heavy. And the important thing for me is the glass. When you start putting the glass on the front of these things, that's when you really notice the difference, especially at longer focal lengths. I mean, this is a Lumix GX8, and it's got a 14mm f2.5 lens on the front. This isn't a pancake lens, this is a proper lens. This is the size of this lens. And it really is small, it's lightweight, but the quality out of it is unbelievable. Again, as I said earlier in this video, the manufacturing tolerances are easier to achieve when you've got smaller physical lenses. But for somebody like me who's getting on a bit in years and find it awkward to get out with some of the bigger cameras, these are really, really good. The cameras are small, but not silly small, although Micro Four Thirds cameras can get really half the size of this, still using the same lens and the same glass and giving fantastic results. But it's the lenses more than anything else which makes a big difference for me. And to me, that's the difference between me taking a camera out and enjoying it, or maybe leaving it home because it's a bit of a hassle. The other thing, of course, is I enjoy going on holiday. I enjoy going out in the field and taking photographs. And by the time you've humped a great big camera, especially if you're flying somewhere and you happen to take it in hand baggage, by the time you've taken a big camera with a lot of weight, it's taken up your hand baggage limit, and also you can't get everything in. I can get a rucksack type camera case on my back with almost all of my lenses, primes and zoom lenses, to take almost everything I want, still get it in hand baggage, and still have enough load capacity left to be able to get extra bits and pieces in it. So for me, it really is important to have that small, lightweight. So number 2, it's the small and lightweight of these camera systems. Now, don't forget, before I get to number 1, if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, why not? It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. Don't forget to hit the notification button and tick all beside it to get notifications every time I upload the video. And also give me a big thumbs up if you would. Now, also to support the channel, you'll find there's 2 links below. The PayPal link, if you just want to buy me a one-off cup of coffee to help keep the channel going, that's appreciated. Or if you would like to join my merry band of patrons on Patreon, then there's a Patreon link below, and there's 3 different level structures on that, and you get special videos ahead of other people and special one-off videos that nobody on YouTube's going to find. So if you want to do that, there's links below. Anyway, back to my top 5. Now, in at number 1 really has to be the open structure of Micro Four Thirds. If you buy a Canon camera, you're going to have Canon lenses, maybe 1 or 2 other manufacturers, say Sigma or Tamron, to do your lenses, but almost everything is Canon. And there's nothing really to push the format forward apart from the main manufacturer. And in fact, on some of the R series, they've really held it down so that other manufacturers, outside third-party lens manufacturers, haven't really had the opportunity to get in there. And that goes across the board for the other big manufacturers. Since its inception, some 10 or 12 years ago, Micro Four Thirds has been something of an open system, insofar as it was developed between Olympus and Panasonic Lumix. And basically, they set a standard for the lens and a standard for the sensors, which a lot of people can buy into. So if I'm buying my Olympus camera body, for instance, I can stick a Lumix lens onto it, I can put a Tamron lens onto it, I can stick a Sigma lens onto it, and know that they're all agreeing to a set standard. They're going to work. The autofocus is going to work, the camera mount is going to be good, standard across there. But also there's other manufacturers in this. The Micro Four Thirds format has really been adopted by videographers because it's a fantastic format for videographers to do. So you'll get other manufacturers, for instance Red, who are really renowned insofar as high quality video cameras. They're taken into the Micro Four Thirds. And the good thing with that is the innovation from each of those, it goes across the board insofar as everyone else. Now, There are differences, yes, I know that. Some have lens stabilization, some don't. The in-body stabilization has been slightly different between the two, and I know that if you want to have the best of both worlds, whether it's using the lens and the in-body stabilization, you really need to be going down the same manufacturer. But to be honest, with the majority of photography needs that I have, having that open structure has meant that the format can really move forward, and it gives me, as a consumer, a choice of all sorts. As I say, I can stick this little 14mm Lumix lens onto my Olympus bodies. The Olympus bodies, the in-body stabilization is going to work extremely well with it, and it's going to be able to give me some fantastic shots with this Lumix lens. I can put my Olympus lenses onto my Lumix body, and it works equally as well. So for me, in at number one has to be the open structure of the multi-manufacturer support, and that makes Micro Four Thirds, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the other manufacturers. So thanks very much for watching this video, and if you have any reasons why you particularly favour Micro Four Thirds format, leave a comment below. I'd love to see why. There must be reasons that you've got that I haven't said. Leave them in the comments for other people to see. But until the next time, keep on taking your camera out, keep on taking photographs, and keep on having fun with your photography. Till the next time, I'll be seeing you. Bye-bye. Now, yes, I know full frame cameras when you get on to the Z series or the Z series from Nikon or the... I know when you get on... In at number 3 is the innovative features. That's difficult to say. So thanks very much for watching this video, and if you have any particular reasons why you favour Micro Four... Can't say it. New teeth.